Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video today we're going over Western bits, the curb, spade, snaffle, and tom thumb. I'm going to be correcting some of the things that I said in my equipment video. So without further ado, let's jump in. First up we have the Spanish California vaquero. They mainly rode in spade bits, at least when they finished, the bridle horse. And that was a long process in and of itself. Here we have a Garcia spade bit. These are still for sale today. So the spade bit works as a signal bit. It is not used to correct a horse or for training. It is for finished horses only. A spade bit is one of the most severe bits that you can use if you do not know how to use it. Typically, buckaroos and vaqueros use the spade bit. Next, we have the cowpuncher. So cowpunchers typically use the curb bit. That is the bit on the left. And the curb bit is not like the spade bit. It is mainly for control, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but the curb bit is mainly used by the cowpunchers for grazing or for riding their horses. Their finished horses are what they ride the curb bits in. Now, a horse has to be trained to neck rein before it is put in the curb bit, otherwise it won't work properly. So the curb bit is a leverage bit. As you can see, the leverage is based on the shank. How long it is, the inches, is typically how much leverage that you will create. It's not like the snaffle bit, because the leverage, it makes it so that a pound of pressure on the horse's mouth, the more leverage you have, will create 4 to 5 pounds depending on the inches. And yes, the leverage has to do with the shank, as we saw in the last picture. And then there's the port. The port is, it has the ability to apply pressure to the horse's mouth, to the roof of the mouth. And then with the curb bit, you have to have that curb strap underneath to lock the curb in place. Next up, we have the tom thumb. So in the previous video, I said that the tom thumb was a snaffle bit because it's broken in the middle. This was a mistake, and I'm correcting it right now. A tom thumb is a leverage bit. It has leverage underneath, meaning you apply a pound of pressure to the horse's mouth with a tom thumb, you can create up to like 5 pounds depending on the length of the shank. Now, cowpunchers will use the tom thumb as a way of training their horse leading up to the final curb bit. And typically it's ridden in the split rein, or reiners will use it with reining reins. Now, the tom thumb is also it's almost like a hybrid type bit. So buckaroos typically don't use tom thumbs, but I have seen buckaroos use a tom thumb on a bronchier style horse. Next up, we have the buckaroo. So typically buckaroos will ride their younger colts and colts that they're starting, and sometimes they switch between riding in that hackamore bozell to a snaffle bit, which is on the top. Snaffle bits is a 1-for-1 leverage, and buckaroos, the final end product that they are searching for is that spade bit horse, which they get from the vaquero traditions. Now let's jump into different types of snaffles. Here we have a Jeremiah Watt snaffle. Buckaroos today, a lot of times they like the Jeremiah Watt. They like the silver that he creates, and he still creates snaffle bits today along with spurs, and you can see the ornate designs on the right. Now we have the loose ring snaffle. It attaches to sliding rings, and it makes it difficult for the horse to gain control over the snaffle because it is moving around. The horse's lips can get caught or pinched in here, but it's, in my personal opinion, still better than the tom thumb. Now we have the EGGBUTT snaffle. This allows the horse to not pinch its lips in the rings because, as you can see here, it is blocked off. And Snaffle, it breaks in the middle, so when you're pulling back, it's almost like a nutcracker on the horse's mouth. Next up, we have the D-ring Snaffle. It gets its name from D-shaped bit rings, and it's similar to the EGGBUTT, but it is a lot longer, and as you can see, it looks like D's. What this allows you to do as a rider is not pinch the horse's mouth, and it still works like a snaffle. Then we have the half cheek snaffle. It's almost like the full cheek snaffle, but as you can see, it's half cheek. This one in particular goes down halfway. The reason why you would use this is mainly for racing horses. Next, we have the full cheek snaffle. It, to a degree, I don't personally agree with this, but it is one of the best snaffle bits to use because it is a full cheek and it keeps the bit in the proper position of the horse's mouth. Now, everybody's going to have their own personal opinions on the snaffles, but overall, people ride in snaffles because of the one-to-one leverage that it creates. There is no leverage created by the snaffle itself, so whatever pound of pressure you apply to the horse's mouth, that is the pound of pressure that it feels. Now, I have to throw in the Mona Lisa bit because my family back in Nevada, they don't ride in Spade bits, they ride in this Mona Lisa. And they personally believe that the Mona Lisa is a better bit than the Spade bit. And you can buy Mona Lisas at J.M. Capriola's if you so desire. And if you're following the traditions, you will go Spade bit, but if you are looking for performance, you go with Mona Lisa. Possibly, everyone has their own opinions.